Yes, my name is Don Harris from Inner City Cycling, which is a nonprofit organization based in Los Angeles, California. The bike race started on behalf of recognizing a magazine in the LA Life magazine that actually inspired me to realize that Dr. King rode a bicycle on supporting the bus strike in Montgomery, Alabama. In 1955, Dr. King, the photographer, was able to capture him holding a rally bicycle with his trench coat on the handlebars and felt hat and his suit in front of the church that he was pastoring in Mississippi in 1955. And that same year, Ronald Reagan approved the national holiday for Dr. King's birthday. On the radio, Stevie Wonder was singing happy birthday to Dr. King. I brought my young kids to see the parade, and I realized that standing on the parade route, it was vacant because we had to get there early. And I realized that we could use that vacant time to entertain the prospectors that was standing waiting on the parade, and I suggested that maybe this would be a good idea to approach for the following year Dr. King holiday. As I realized that the parade route was vacant and everyone was just standing, I noticed the young kids at the time, was interfering with each other because at the time we had a gang problem in the community, and there was kids behaving in a very unruly way from the different schools or the different colors that they were wearing. And I noticed that something needed to be done to correct that. And I realized that this was inspired me to propose this idea about doing the bike ride before the parade. So at the time I knew that I had to get in touch with the organizer of the parade, which at the time was Mr. Larry Grant. But because I didn't know Mr. Larry Grant personally, I knew Mr. Celes King. And growing up in the neighborhood, I knew who Mr. Celes King was and the family. So I approached the daughter that day. I went to Celes King's office and spoke with her. And she said, my dad is gonna be right out in a few minutes. And I explained to her why I was there. And she actually brought her dad to the front of the office and explained to her dad who I was and what I was doing. I introduced myself to Mr. Celes King, and he took me to his office, and we sat down and I explained to him the idea that I had. And without any hesitation, he picked up the phone and called Mr. Larry Grant. And Mr. Larry Grant spoke with me briefly over the phone. He introduced me to Mr. Larry Grant. I spoke with him briefly over the phone, and Mr. Grant invited me to his office on Wilshire Boulevard. Within a couple days, I was visiting with Mr. Grant on the 7th floor of an office in Wilshire Boulevard. I explained to Mr. Grant the proposal, and he said he'd think about it and let me know. And he called me one day, like within a month or so, and asked me if I had time to come back to the office. He wanted to speak with me, and he had some other gentlemen in the office at the time. And we did I did the proposal again and explained to him what I was going to do. At the same time, I was pretty well equipped. I took a map of the route that I was choosing, and I explained to him how this can work. He wasn't too well to understand exactly what I was about to and how I was going to pull this off. but he did express that he got some concerns, and he will be there that morning, and I would explain to him what I'm going to do, and then he was there. He came out early that morning of the bike race the following year. About 5 o'clock he was there, and I was setting up at Krispy Kreme, and I'd already mailed out all my invitations to all the cyclists, and we had a great turnout the first year. And from then on, it just continued. I had to be able to select signatures throughout the community and turn in the permit. At the time, it was Mark Thomas was the first councilman for the 8th district that I had to approach, and he definitely understood what was my intention to bring this activity to the community, and he definitely worked with me and gave me a fee waiver where it wasn't cost any money to close the streets off at the time, even though Larry Grant had explained to me that he had already closed the street off but still turned in the permit, which I did. So I went on ahead and followed the procedures and a suggestion that they asked me to do, and it was a very beautiful experience to work with Mark Thomas, Larry Grant, Celes King, and all the organizers that came in to assist me. And then after Mark Thomas left office, Bernard Parks came in, and I was still doing the bike race. So by then it was almost 6-7 years I've been doing the bike race every year without any hesitation or any problem. And until when Bernard Parks came in, and he allowed me to do it for a couple of years, and then there was some changes came in with Mayor Virgosa. When I invited all the politicians, I had Mayor Hahn endorse me, and then I met with Mayor Virgosa, and he explained to me that he would definitely see that the bike race continue. At the time, I had a gentleman by the name of Alex Baum, and Mr. Alex Baum was worked with Tom Brantley on the '84 Olympic, and also he helped organize the bike patrol for the LAPD. So he was teaching at the police academy, and also I was there with Mr. Baum when they named the bridge in his honor by Dodger Stadium, and Alex Baum was very influential in helping me also with the city to obtain different permits, not only from the Bicycle Coalition and also all the other organizations that came in and helped me, and the sponsors, US Bank. You know, we did a bike race around Crenshaw High School, and the LAUSD was very supportive, you know, and Walmart was in the neighborhood, and they also support me, and AAA, and we had several other sponsors in the community that was very helpful as far as making this bike race possible for young people to see exactly what a professional bike rider will do on his bike in the community. They didn't have to travel far, and most of these kids have never seen a professional rider come in the community and actually do a physical bike race. So it was very important to share that real vision with the young people in the community. And I would look forward to continue to do that, because that's a sport. It's a physical sport, and for the future and the congestion in Los Angeles, these kids got to understand what bicycle is all about. And I look forward to continue to not only do the bike race, but at the same time share the information with the kids so that they not only could learn about safety on bike and how to repair a bike. And now that Metro have introduced bicycle across the country, we're going to need bicycle mechanics. So that's employment for young people to really have a job, you know, that wants to work on bicycle. So, you know, it's very great that we introducing bicycle into the city. You know, I visit Europe, Holland, Switzerland, and they're way ahead of us when it comes to bicycling and cycling. And it's a great exercise. You know, 15 minutes a day on your bike keep you healthy. So I just want to continue to make sure that this organization, Inner City Cycling, continue to network with other cycling organizations, whether it's East, West Coast, or in Africa, or even going back to some of the other countries down in Central America and help these kids understand what cycling is all about. It's a health product, and I want to continue to help produce it. Yes, moving forward with this cycling organization, Inner City Cycling, I really want to see that only we do a veteran classic. Something has to be done for the veterans always. Recognize the men and women that support this great country of ours, the United States of America, and help other people throughout the world. Myself, as a military Vietnam veteran, I know what it's like to serve in the military and serve this country, and I was very proud about it. But now that I am a civilian CEO of Inner City Cycling, I'd like to see Inner City Cycling grow as a grassroots and continue to serve the community, not only our community, but throughout, and share the wisdom as far as cycling about some of the other future events that we are continuing to do. A Central American Classic. And just briefly, let me explain. A Central American Classic is, we're going to have to do the footwork to make sure that we can contact all the embassies in Central America and invite a group of cyclists from each country, from Canada to Brazil, and have our opportunity to invite them to the streets of Los Angeles to do a bike race called the Central American Classic. I know that it will take a little bit of effort on our part and organize, but I invite anyone listening to this suggestion that we welcome you if you love cycling. If you want to be part of Inner City Cycling, we have a membership on our website that you can join, and we invite each one of you that this will be a great event to be a part of. Our next event is a BMX cycling event for the kids in our community. We want to do a lunch program or after school program, a weekend program with kids in the school, and show them the activity that anyone is capable of performing on a bike. It's not only bike race, but there's always other activity they can do on a bike. So this is something that we want to share with the young people coming up in the schools, and we want to be able to be involved with that when it comes to inner city cycling, sharing the wisdom of cycling. Another event, I didn't go into the Veteran Classic, I didn't mention it, but also that's a bike race that needs to be done right around Veterans Day, and it's definitely highlighting and promoting and supporting everything to the veterans that particular day. Another event is cancer research. Prostate cancer is a sickness, a disease that especially men suffer from. And because we have more men that suffer from this disease, Inner City Cycling would like to definitely do a cancer classic for prostate cancer, supporting that section, but cancer as a whole. You know, we want to just be a part of the Cancer Society Association and be able to promote the awareness of prostate cancer. So that's definitely a health issue that needs to be addressed, and we want to be able to definitely move in that area as far as a cycling event for the prostate cancer victim. Also, there's several other more events that we look forward to do. We would like to do a Barack Obama Classic, and the only reason for this event is because not only that President Obama did his tour in the White House and was able to do a lot of things, but a lot more he couldn't do because, unfortunately, of the politics. So I'm not a politician, and the only reason why I want to be able to highlight that about Barack Obama Classic is because he also rode a bike. Jimmy Carter rode a bike. You know, so President Clinton rode a bike. And these are presidents that definitely deserve a bike classic because they love bicycle. And I would like to be able to also move in that area to promote those events for those presidents, because they're men that have not only showed that they know about bicycle. So, you know, inner city cycling is definitely looking forward to not only grow and continue to be here forever, because this is an organization that's going to continue to live on. As long as we ride a bicycle, inner city cycling is going to be around. Thank you very much.